The 2020 U.S. Senate race in Colorado got a bit more interesting this week. After voting against border wall funding 2 weeks ago, Senator Cory Gardner endorsed President Trump for re-election in an interview this week. Meanwhile, former Colorado State Senator and candidate for governor Mike Johnston announced he was jumping into the 2020 Senate race. David, I guess I was trying to figure out if Gardner's just kind of have this serpentine strategy where one day he's going to be over here and saying, I'm against wall funding, and this is where Colorado stands. Oh, no, wait, I'm going to be for Trump and his for re-election. Or is this a pretty standard position where a Republican senator from Colorado should be?
It's a standard position for senators of either party from Colorado, which is I think you'd have to go back over a century to find a case where an incumbent senator did not support the re-election of the incumbent president of the same party. And at the same time, Colorado senators on particular issues as they come up will sometimes vote against the president of their same party. So that's fairly standard behavior. You probably have to go back to Henry Teller, who split with the Republicans in around 1900 over silver and helped form a separate party, the Silver Republicans.
I'm taking your word for it on that.
Okay. Johnston is a very formidable and serious candidate. He came in third in the Democratic primary, but he's still has a good demeanor. He's knowledgeable on the issues, a hard worker, and was certainly respected in a bipartisan sense at the Capitol. He's got 5 other candidates so far were already in the race, not that well known, but Crescenta Duran, former House Speaker, and Andrew Romanoff, also a former House Speaker, are looking about getting in. And they would be strong candidates too. Michael Bloomberg has picked Johnston as his favorite, and that's a lot of money there, not only directly from Bloomberg, but all the ways he can put it in indirectly. You know, money can't. Bloomberg put $60 million into New Mexico in the last election cycle. And money can't buy love, but it can buy New Mexico, as has been empirically proven. So I think New Mexico was a test case, and we could see over $100 million or more just Bloomberg money coming into Colorado in 2020. So that augurs well for Johnston's prospects.
Eric, you're a political analyst. What do you analyze from Gardner's move, and what's the impact of Johnston's entry in the race?
Well, let me start with Johnston, and we'll go to Cory. As David points out, Mike Johnston is a very able guy. This is going to be a very competitive primary. In addition to some of the lower-profile candidates who have announced, I think you're looking at potentially 4 top-tier candidates, not in any order. Mike Johnston, people close to Andrew Romanoff tell me he's getting ready to do this thing. It's only a matter of days or weeks before Andrew Romanoff is in it. John Walsh, former U.S. attorney under Barack Obama for Colorado, well-liked, well-respected in Democratic ranks, would be a formidable candidate. And then Crescenta Duran. That is a heavyweight field. It goes to show you the talent that is on this Democratic bench in Colorado, unlike the Republican bench where it really starts and stops with Cory Gardner. It is going to be, we haven't even stopped for a mayoral race in Denver. We're already talking about a U.S. Senate race the better part of 2 years out, but it's going to be a barn burner of a race, and that primary could be every bit as entertaining as the Polis, Kerry Kennedy, Johnston, Donna Lynn, Noel Ginsburg primary was not even a year ago. To Cory Gardner, I think he's almost in a damned if you do, damned if you don't, and maybe just damned situation. I mean, Cory won by 1.9 points in 2014 when Donald Trump was still hosting The Apprentice and hadn't yet surfaced on the political scene. That was as good a year as Republicans are ever going to see in Colorado. And Mark Udall was a weakened incumbent who ran a poor campaign. Cory won by under 2 points. This state has turned. It continues to turn. It's turning hard. If Gardner runs away from the Trump base, the base has zero forgiveness. But if he runs toward the Trump base, Colorado is going to have zero forgiveness. He is in a very tough, extremely tough political predicament.
Megan, even for us, this is early to talk about a Senate race, but is it because it's going to have such a magnifying glass amongst the nation's Senate races in 2020?
Yeah, it's going to have national impact. Everyone's going to be watching this race, along with a handful of others, but definitely, it's going to be one of the hottest races in the nation. People are already talking about it. And I think you're right. I don't think Gardner is in a win situation no matter what he does. He could have responded a little more thoughtfully to the question of, are you going to endorse the president for re-election? He could have said, well, there's a pending investigation I'd like to see. Or he could have said, that I've been disappointed with some things so far. The president can do better. I think that he could have hedged it a little bit better than just right away giving up and saying, yeah, I'm all for Trump 2020. But he does have to walk a line politically, and that's too bad that our politicians these days are so hesitant to weigh in on these types of issues strongly.
Patty, Johnston might intimidate Gardner and other Republicans. Does he intimidate other Democrats from jumping in the race?
No, I think we've had clown cars before. Now I'm thinking this is a better caliber of clown, but we are still going to have plenty of people jumping into this race because the Senate seats don't come up very often, and especially not when the incumbent actually looks vulnerable. I got spanked last week for saying something nice about Cory Gardner because I applauded him taking the position he did on the shutdown and going against Trump. And I think he did it. It was the right thing for him to do. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. He was wrong to come out and say what he did about supporting Trump right now because he could have, as Megan said, he could have waited. He could have said, I'm holding back until we see a few things. 18 months out, he didn't need to do that.